Welcome to another video from Between CAD Classes. I'm Tracy, and in this video, I'm going to show you how we can create a dynamic block that uses the polar stretch option. What is a polar stretch? Well, it's something that will stretch and rotate an object at the same time. If you would like to try this along with me, you can find the particular CAD file that I'm working with down in the description below. Before we get into the creation process, let's take a look at what exactly this block's going to do when we're done. So here I have a building with some different size window openings, and they're at different angles. I'm going to bring in my window block and click to place it in one of these locations. Then I'm going to select the block, and you can see this extra grip over here on the right side. I'm going to select it, and this will allow me to stretch it in and out, but it will also allow me to rotate the window as well. So very easily, I can adjust the size and place it in the angled opening. Let's see that again. Again, I can stretch different lengths and different angles. I'll put in another one up top here. Once again, I can stretch it different angles and different lengths. I'll do one more over here. And once again, this time you can see I can rotate it up 90 degrees and adjust its length so that it's 4 feet. Well, let's take a look at how we can actually create this. I'm going to swap drawings here real quick and place a copy of my window block. So this is just a static window block. I'm going to double click on it to get into the block editor. Then click OK. So here you can see my window. I'm going to close my insert dialog box to give me a little more space here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is go to the parameters tab. Now here on the parameters tab, you're going to see a parameter called polar. That's the one that I want to use. So I'm going to choose polar. I'm going to pick the lower left corner as my first point and the lower right corner as my second point. So just like placing a linear parameter. Next, I'm going to go to the actions tab and I'm going to choose polar stretch. The first thing that I need to do, as typical on a dynamic block, is select the parameter I wish to associate this with. That's going to be this distance 1 parameter. Next, I need to decide if I want to associate this with the left point or the right point. In my case, I'm going to click on the right endpoint here. Then I'm going to create my stretch frame. So I'm going to do a crossing. I'm going to pick from right to left and create a crossing that crosses over the part like so. Then I have to create a second crossing to select my objects. So I'm going to create a very similar crossing here. Then I'm going to go ahead and press enter to tell it I'm done selecting objects. And now the command line is asking me to select the objects that are going to rotate. I'm going to go ahead and window around everything and press enter. Next, I'm going to test this out. So here on the block editor tab, I'm going to select test block. Then I'll select my window and I can grab this grip and you can see that I can now stretch and rotate at the same time. I want to clean this up a little bit though. You can see there's a grip over here on the left side, but it doesn't really do anything. So I'm going to get rid of that grip. And I'm also going to limit this window to specific sizes. So I'm going to close my test block. I'm going to select my distance 1 parameter, then right click and choose properties. Of course, you can use your favorite way, CH and enter, PR and enter to bring up your properties window. Then I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. I can see number of grips is currently set to 2. I'm going to set that to 1. That way I just have the one grip that's functional. The other grip then will be my insertion point grip. Then I am going to come to my value set section and I'm going to adjust my distance type. Instead of none, I am going to give it a list of allowable values. I'm going to click on the next box down that says 3 feet and expand that with the button here. And then I'm going to add some additional values. So I'm going to put in 2 feet, 2 feet 6, 3 feet 6, and 4 feet. Obviously, I can do this all day for whatever lengths of windows I'm going to need. I'll go ahead and click OK. And now I can see my predefined increments here. The current one is 3 feet. Now, I didn't do this in my example, but if I wanted to, I can also limit the way this rotates. So under angle type, I'm going to set this one to an increment, and I'm going to set its increments to 45 degrees. So not only will it lock on to the predefined lengths, but also predefined angles as well. I could test this, but I'm going to go ahead and close my block editor and save my changes. And I'm going to close my properties and open up my insert dialog box by typing I and enter. And then I'm going to insert a fresh copy of this window. I'll go ahead and click to place it, select the window, grab the grip, and now you can see that I can stretch the different lengths, and you can see the little tick marks out here for my predefined 45-degree rotations. So if I know for sure that I'm going to be sticking to 45-degree rotations like I am in this particular exercise, I can use that option. Of course, if you're going to be using this window and you have no idea what angle you might be rotating it at, you might not want to adjust the angle type. You might want to leave that to where you can change it to any angle at all. So there you have the polar stretch. Pretty easy workflow. Just add in the polar parameter and then the polar stretch action, selecting your crossing frame and the objects to be stretched, as well as the objects to be rotated. And then if you want, add in the distance types so that you can control the lengths and the angles that it rotates at. I hope you found this helpful. If so, please give me a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video from Between CAD Classes. Thanks.